All right, Ime here with Video Nurse, talking about the topic 5 things that people do that could kill them. All right, number 1, and this is a very, very big topic, and maybe not so obvious to most of you out there trying to take care of their health. One of the things that people do that could kill them is actually something that they fail to do. It's the absence of a certain action. One of the things that people fail to do is they fail to read the labels on food, and they fail to read the labels, the dosing, and all the information on a prescription medication. In some cases, all you're going to do is get a handful of some junk in your mouth. In other cases, if you don't read things very carefully, you might eat something that you're allergic to and have a really adverse reaction to it. Or in the case of prescriptions, you might accidentally mix something together that you shouldn't, and that can cause some major complications as well. So let me talk about that. Adverse side effects could be diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, dizziness, sleepiness while you're driving. It could be, something very insidious or small, and it could blow out into something bigger. If you don't know what the side effects of a medication are and you start taking it and you're not looking for those things, or you're not kind of prepped ahead of time, this could happen. You're not prepared for it. Combining prescriptions with alcohol. There's specific drugs, prescription drugs, that if you mix them with alcohol, you can get very, very sick. Mostly that's because your kidneys and liver have to deal with these medications, and if they're handling alcohol at the same time, it's not always a good combination. Okay. Not reading labels on foods, or not understanding what those foods, if they don't come with labels, are about, are, basically foods that are high in fat, sodium, sugar, trans fats, and corn. These aren't going to kill you right away unless you're allergic to them, but they kill you over time by causing other problems like adult onset diabetes from being overweight and putting too much strain on your system to be able to handle all this excess stuff that your body was never designed to handle in those kind of quantities and frequency. Okay. Foods that you have sensitivity to. Recently, I wrote an article about the DOT because they want to revisit the ruling that maybe it's time to remove peanuts, meaning put a peanut ban on all airline flights in the United States, because the sensitivities to peanuts are one of the very few things that people actually can have anaphylactic shock, meaning their airways will close down, they'll stop breathing, and there aren't that many other kinds of foods or food products out there that cause this reaction in so many people. And the numbers of people who have peanut allergies is on the rise. I mean, there used to be a time when we never would even think about it, but you notice how there just aren't that many peanut commercials around anymore like there used to be a long time ago. Some of you are really young, but they used to be on all the time. And now they are. There's a whole generation of people, and that number has doubled just in I think the last 5 years or so. So you got to read labels and know what's in it. Now, just not reading labels, not understanding what's in your food, what has happened to our food supply here, has caused a really big problem in our country. And that problem is being overweight, and more in particular, obesity is a huge problem, no pun intended, in the United States. When I talk about being overweight, I'm talking about a BMI of 26 or higher, and factoring in for certain cultures and certain people groups that tend to be a little bit heavier but are still healthy. And being obese is a BMI of 31, and almost nobody will argue that at a BMI of 31, your body is affected at every single level of its ability to cope, to have its immune defenses, to be able to do anything that the body was designed to do is affected at a BMI of 31. So no matter whether you're male or female or what culture you are, it really doesn't matter. At that point, you are considered obese. Another thing about not reading ingredients is not reading portion sizes. So somebody might just pick up a package and go, ooh, this isn't that bad. There's not that much fat in there, but they're not reading the portion size and realizing that all they saw was the total number for a portion, and they were thinking the entire package. So they eat the entire package and not realize that they were like 6 servings in that package. So they just, times by 6 what they just saw. So that's not good to not read those things. What you want to be looking for to remove out of your diet would be trans fats, detergents. There are detergents in some of our food. Think of it as just like, eating a little bit of Tide with your food. Ick. Ooh. Mm. Corn, I already talked about that. These are fillers that are used for fattening cattle, but they actually can make us sick, and we have a hard time digesting it. So in general, if you've noticed, there are a lot of new vitamin supplements and minerals in there. And if you look at the bottle, almost all of them now these days are saying no corn, no yeast, no gluten. So these are things that people actually have some sensitivities to, and it's pretty common. The majority of us just don't do well with corn. The exception would be if you are from a Latin American country and your genetics suggests that for generations your peoples have eaten real corn, not the GMO stuff that we have now, but real corn. You probably are just fine. I'd rather you take Michael Pollan's advice and basically don't fuel up where your car fuels up, okay? Because your car can have biodiesel, or new cars can have biodiesel. This car, nah, not so much. Okay. All right. Lots of those foods, anyways, are going to have excess sugar, high fructose corn syrup, excess calories from fat, excess sodium, and things that are missing because all these calories are coming from the wrong place. Could be some certain essential vitamins and minerals. Fiber might be missing out of it. Any kind of useful nutrition, something that your body knows what to do with. If we simply ate by texture and flavor instead of reading the ingredients, we can set ourselves up for excess weight, malnutrition, and worse yet, we'll eventually just groom these little taste buds to reject what's really good for our bodies, because all we want is that excess fat and sugar, and we don't even know what real food like asparagus and broccoli and certain kinds of leafy greens like arugula tastes like. So stop eating like a baby, people. Get real, eat some really good, real food, remove the junk. That is what Video Nurse says. And if you're listening to this and you want to put in some chat on that, this is your chance. So I'm going to stop recording here.